Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. It's been forever, hasn't it? I think my mic's on. I'm hoping I'm good. It's been a while, so if I'm a little rusty today, you guys are gonna, totally help me out, as always, right? All right, let's see who's all here. Welcome, Sarah. So excited to have you here today. Oh, and I am so thrilled that you're here. Ann Cannon is one of the students that came to the retreat, and she is just amazing. I'm so glad that you're here. Susan Thames, it's been a while. I'm so glad I'm back. I missed you guys too. And I'm glad, Ann, that you liked the topic, because you guys were definitely the ones, all of you. I learned so much from the retreat, you guys. I went in with an open mind and an open heart to learn and just, soak it all in and get feedback and all the things. And it was definitely a ride, but it was beautiful. And I am just so much better of a person for it all. And I couldn't have asked for a more lovely and amazing group to have been my first retreat. So the place was amazing too. So if you want to see some clips of all of that, I just posted a reel on Instagram, so you can go check that out. And I also, in my newsletter, I hope all of you guys are subscribed to my newsletter. If you aren't, if you are, you get kind of that inside peek of everything where I showed, a collage of all the photos and things like that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Angela, she's here. I'm so glad you were able to make it today too. Loretta, hello, hello. Peg, thank you, Peg, for your wonderful email. I have quite a few in my email box. It just really filled up my heart getting those this morning. Thank you so much. Susan, I missed you too. Cameron, that's my hubby. He's downstairs. He's always there supporting me, which I am super grateful for. The spelled Paige. Well, maybe I'll just call you Paige because I can't do the full saying, but welcome. I think it's your first time in chat. So glad that you're here. And from California, a little next door neighbor here since I'm in Oregon. Adrian's here. Hello, all the way from North Carolina. Amy, hello, welcome. So glad that you made it here. Karen's in the house. Thank you so much, Karen, for coming today. We have Mary, a new follower, and she's looking forward to this demo. We got Steve. Hello, Steve. So glad that you made it. And I think the rest I've all said hi to. So people will just start rolling in. We have quite a few of you already. That makes my heart so full. We have over 30 of you in here, and I just started, so that's always great. And one of the biggest things about being one-on-one with people, and I had 7 people there, and I would say I think 5 of them were new to PanPastel. And it was just amazing to be able to take them from never trying PanPastel before to where they left, which many of them left with projects finished, and it was just amazing. And what my goal was with that retreat was to have them leave with the confidence and the skills to carry on when they go home. It wasn't just a one-off. I really wanted to have people, be able to walk away with the confidence to be able to explore some of their ideas of what they were inspired to do and give them the skills to be able to do so. And I really feel like I achieved that. And some of the people that came that knew PanPastel, I was able to work on some things that were challenges that I think could really level up their artwork. And I've really felt that was a success also. So hello, Laura, welcome. She was at the retreat too. So glad that you made it today. Louise is here. Welcome, Louise. So excited to learn more about PanPastel. She's all the way from Australia, says Angela. Welcome. All right, Amy Lynn. I think we have a couple Amy's in here. We have an Amy K and an Amy L. Welcome, Amy. So glad that you made it. All right, so one of the biggest challenges I have found when doing this whole retreat, I haven't done a lot of one-on-one in persons. Of course, you guys know I have over 70 lessons in my Pastel Insider membership. I've been teaching for over 4 years, and it was my dream to start teaching in person, but I knew that would come at the time. Things just always have their right timing. And my sweet friend who has been doing this for a while encouraged me to go for it. So I'm really glad I did. But when I got there and I started working with people one-on-one, I could see clearly what was going on and the overall challenge. And I could see this in my group starting to evolve and emerge too, was application. I learned that a lot of people are hanging out. You guys are really hanging out on the bottom layer. And I'm going to show you today how to create rich, buttery layers that can achieve this sense of vibrancy that a lot of you see in my work and I know are attracted to, because I've been told that, like, oh, I can't get the layers to be as vibrant and as bold as you. And a lot of that is because you're hanging out on a lower layer. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm really excited. I got some fresh new wands since I've been at the retreat. And we're going to talk about a few things. I have some really exciting announcements today that I have been jumping out of my skin to be able to share with my community. And I shared that in my newsletter. So if you are a newsletter subscriber, you got first knowledge of that. And oh yeah, Sarah's already put it out there. I was invited to go to the Sam and Adele Golden Foundation residency in New York. And this is a unique opportunity because we were personally invited. It wasn't an application process. That's what they normally do. And it's specifically to focus on PanPastel, and we are going to be able to talk with each other and talk with their team and get to know all the people at Golden that are working, that are behind the scenes, tour the facilities, collaborate together. So I'm pretty I'm pretty ecstatic. But it's been a while since I've been able to say it because I had to get all this stuff lined up and get going. So that's in December, and it's for 2 weeks. And we stay on site, and they have little apartments. I put it in my newsletter, but if you want to go to their website, you can see it too. But they have a barn that they've renovated, and it has apartments down there, and then they have studios. And I was invited with 2 other artists who I'm very excited about. And we're all really different, and we all have a unique viewpoint with PanPastel, so that's exciting. And I just am thrilled for the opportunity. So it's been a dream to work with Golden, and it came to me and just out of the blue, so it was pretty exciting. So I'm very excited to be here. So thank you, Sarah, for your congratulations. Yes, thank you, Louise and Angela and Amy. Crystal, so glad that you're here. Thank you. So glad that you're here. All right, so that was my big news. If you have any questions about that, I'd love to share it. But it's definitely the beginning of a relationship that I don't think I could have asked for a better company in my wheelhouse, since they own PanPastel. They bought PanPastel back in 2022. And they actually moved the whole facility over to their Golden facility. And so everything's manufactured there. So I'm going to get a tour on that. Can't wait. And yeah, I'm going to have lots of fun opportunities to take video and do all that to share the journey. And I just can't wait. So I have 9 weeks, and then I'll be heading out of town for that. Thank you, Chris Sello. Welcome. So glad that you made it. Thank you, Karen. Adrian. That's so much fun. It would be my version of going to the Mecca. Yeah, exactly. Like, they have this room. It's called the candy store, and you get to access all of the supplies, everything Golden, and they have 3 of each. So for 3 people, so no one's like trying to, all that. So we had a Teams meeting. It's just like pinch me type stuff. So I'm pretty excited. Hello, Marie. So glad to see you branching into pastel. I don't know what that says. Yeah, I've been doing PanPastel, Marie. I think it's your first time in chat. I've been doing PanPastel for over 7 years, and I've been live streaming for over a year, and about a year and a half now, so it's pretty exciting. So I'm so glad our paths have crossed. I know, right, Sarah? That's how I feel. All right, so we're gonna do a little tutorial here. Now, one of the things is people are going through their wands a lot. Now, these do take a while to get used to. This is the oval wand. These covers are made out of a high density foam. So some people would be like, oh man, I'm just gonna go to the dollar store and get my dollar store eyeshadow things and sponges and all of that. These really make a difference because they are high density foam. And if you're not too rough on them, you can wash them even if you want, but I never wash them because I usually use them up before I do. So that's the oval wand, like I told all my students, it's there because I can universally use this wand shape. It's good to kind of line up with one and then stick with it and find your way with it with your own mark making. And I've chosen to do that with the oval. Now, with that said, I don't know if I have one here. Oh, I do. This is the one that always looks like the eyeshadow one, but it's made out of the same high density foam. And this is the applicator. And this applicator, if you really look at it, it's exactly the same size as the tip. You know, that tip is the same. So if you are going, well, I have to use this one. I started off using this one quite a bit, but then I found out it was really tight in there. And I was just like, I want to loosen up as an artist. So for me, that choice was because I wanted to loosen up, was the reason why I went into the oval wand. You're also increasing your, surface area that you are using. And so you're able to do a lot more with this and still get a ton of detail. So with that, it might feel uncomfortable, but I showed a lot of my students, a lot of times I'm using my wand really up close. I'm choking the wand like this. I guess I would call it that in a nice, gentle way. But it allows you more control when you've up to the top of it, just like with a pencil. If you're going to use your pencil all the way out here, you're going to be looser and free and not really have that. The other thing I want to talk about is that when you are connecting, first say, let's just take this green one. Well, magenta is always really pretty. Oh, I'll do green. So when you're connecting with your wand, you're wanting to go flat. You do not want to dig in to your PanPastel like this, because it will rough up the top surface of your PanPastel and really kind of be hard on them. And it's such a highly pigmented product that you don't want to rough it up and really get into there. Now, a lot of times, if you look over here, I will go in and do a swoop and really load my wand. So that can be where sometimes I'm finally learning how to verbalize how I'm working with the PanPastel. And less is more, but you're also trying to find that happy balance between a well-loaded wand and an underloaded wand. So a lot of you who are going through your wands, the fact is you're probably underloading your wand and you're not loading enough. So when you're working with the PanPastel, let me find my favorite little color combination here. I think I'll just go in with a beautiful red here. So you can see over here, I'm gonna actually bring it up right in front of us. It looks almost a little orange today. I gotta figure out this camera with some of it. I know it's the white balance, but the white balance is tricky on this camera. But I'm going in here and you can see how I'm making full contact and I'm loading. Now I'm not loading enough where it's shedding. If it's shedding in here or it's shedding in here, then you're probably loading too much. Now I will say white sheds, it just does. And the white is gonna be more temperate, what's that word? Just finicky with that. So I've loaded up my wand. And when I go down with the color, I only did like 3 swipes there. So what I'm finding is this. Let me do both. This is what some people are doing. And you're going to get where you're going to be sitting on top of the paper. So I'm going to zoom in here. And then I got to lighten it up here. So just a moment. Okay. Let me make sure my autofocus is good. Okay. All right, so when you're this close, you can kind of see a little bit more, which I'm hoping, even if I'm able to tilt it a little bit. I'm thinking I might be able to do that. Red might be a little difficult, so I'm going to go back with some other colors too. And let's link that up with a yellow. We will get where we will see it. It might be white where I might have to show it on camera. I'm going to go to white. You might start being up. There it goes. I can kind of see it when the light is a little bit dampened. So I'm going to go like this. Just trying to find the angle. But you can start seeing the paper here through this. And it's hard to see from the light. So I'm trying to see if I can tilt it to get that look. But I might go down one more in lighting. Whoop. All right, I think you can see it there. I think I got the light and the right thing. So see that paper right there? This is where a lot of students were hanging out. And you're sitting there and you're hanging out in this spot and you're adding and taking away. So I think we can see that pretty good with that light turned down. I might go down one more click and see if that's going to accent that a little bit. Yeah, there you go. I think it's just the lighting, just getting that just right. So that paper showing through, we don't want that. But say we got our layers down and we're working with them. All right. And the thing that we're doing is we want to add more. So let's say I just want to add more white and I want to bring it up. When you start doing this and I keep touching it, the bottom still shows through. It will cover up quite a bit, but what happens is that I don't have enough on my wand to continue it to, I'm lifting up what's on the bottom layer of the paper. So for instance, if I wanted to work over here, I'm loading my wand more. To get that buttery layer. Then I can tap into both. When I feel like it starts dropping off, I'm going to add more onto my wand. Now say I have these two spots right here where I want to blend. And let's say I bring this over here and I got it kind of low. I'm going to wipe it off. And I'm going to kind of mix here of what I'm seeing new people. We also have to think that the dark paper is my favorite paper. I like to work on it because if it's worked with in a certain way, you're going to pop those colors off the paper. We can either work with the dark paper or we can work against the dark paper. So that's the big give and take here, is in the end we are working with the dark paper. You won't see this as much if you're working on the cream paper, because the cream paper, you're not going to have that as much because there's so much light in it, and you're going to have to put all of those darks in. And that's not what I really love doing. Is I personally don't love putting all those darks in unless I have a specific effect I'm trying to get. and I will work with the light paper. A lot of times I work with the light paper, I do underpaintings with them and with like watercolor and things like that. So I'm going to check up with chat here real quick. Let's see. Ah, Luis, I love your optimism. I have some news on the color set too. I'm working with them, and I'm going to be doing, the only thing is they will be US only, but I'm doing some giveaways, and it could change where I could do it internationally, but I'm going to have 4 of my sets that I'm putting together, and I'm going to start doing some giveaways on my website every quarterly, and that's going to be a lot of fun too. So I'm getting ready to order that with them. They're going to be sending me 4 of those to do. So I'm very excited about that. I can't wait. I can't wait. Thank you so much. Marie says, so glad to see you, Brent. Oh, I said that one already. Maria says, oh, she's new. Marie, Blanche. Oh, I can't pronounce the last one. Hello, everyone. Always a pleasure to see you live. Your work is amazing. I adore you. Best wishes from France. Well, thank you, Marie. Katie's here. Thank you so much. Sarah says we can see it. Sorry, but these colors are making me think of candy corn. Of course, that's Cameron's like favorite candy is candy corn, and it's my least favorite candy. That's where we are very much opposites. So the more dab and the less scrub, says Sarah. That is correct. We are not pushing it into the paper. You don't need to push it in the paper. The sanded paper does all the work for you. Now, there is some pressure I am putting when I'm going down. I'm putting some pressure on there. But you're going to see how I'm going to work with these two, and I'm going to continue on with the thing. Oh, yes, Sarah, thank you. This is my favorite paper. This is the UART 600 and it is the 600 grade is a grade that is finer. So 600 and 800 work really well. And anything below that is going to be too rough for your tools. 400, 500, those are all for stick pastels, like people that main stick pastels. So that's why I discovered this one, and I was pretty excited about it. So yeah, this is my favorite paper. The reason why it's also my favorite paper is that you aren't really limited with the layers. You can put more than 2 or 3 layers of PanPastel, and then you can still put pencils on top freely. Like, you're free as a bird. You know what I mean? I like that. I like to give and take and do all of that and put multiple layers and then add sticks on if I wanted to and all of that. So that's why I love this paper. And I have a link down below that you can follow and find my favorite art supplies. I have built a relationship with Mary Artists, so they carry a lot of the supplies that I have. Let's see. So I told you the paper. Thank you, Sarah, for helping Angela out. Let's see. Allison S. Hi, Dawn. Love this live. Missed everyone starting this week. All right. I think Allison was leaning on her keyboard. Maybe she's got a cat, like Louise says. Oh my God, that's hilarious. A parrot, maybe, says Shiva. I love that. Some of the colors granulate on the surface more than others when you wand them. Makes me wonder about the colors themselves. Thoughts? I think that all depends. I don't really notice that as much. I mean, like turquoise is one of the weakest pigments up here. White, I don't, that's what I'm saying about white. White is a little bit more finicky. It'll granulate a little bit more, but I really haven't noticed that consistently with any of the other colors to where I would feel like I had to talk about that in depth. It's every once in a while, but mostly consistently I've had it with white. It's just a little bit softer than everything else. So it's really easy to overload your wand with that. Candy corn, I love it. Hubby, not... Candy corn, I love it. Hubby, not so much. I don't know what you mean about that. That's funny. Rena, hello, welcome. Got a lot of new people in here today. Yeah, I don't have anything with granulating like sugar in the palette. So if that's the case, Anne, you might be pushing down a little too hard on the pans, and then they're granulating and they're getting speckly. That's what I was trying to also talk about today. So if I go into my palette here, let's find a color that's not so neon. Let's find a color that's a little bit calmer where you can see that. So if you're going in constantly like with your tip or anything like that, you're going to start building up a lot of sediment in here. And it's going to granulate to maybe what I'm thinking and is maybe talking about. So if I'm going in like this and tapping in and tapping in and tapping in, you're going to get that. And if you're doing that, that means you're loading too rough and you're loading too heavy. We need to tap in really light. It's super fine, so you don't need to tap in as dark. I can smooth this out pretty easily and get this on here. And if you're getting a lot of that shedding and a lot of that granulating, then you are being maybe a little bit heavy on the loading. So with that said, a few people at the retreat, when I would walk around, their palettes had a lot of that granulating in it. And a lot of that's just learning how to load your wand. And the other thing that I noticed is for see, all of mine are up here on a wall. This is not down flat on a table. This is on an easel. So it's shedding down into a tray if I have any shedding at all. And sometimes I'm a little rougher with them in the live, but they're shedding down. So if you're looking over at your palette and it all looks like maybe sugar, stuff like that, and it's all kind of getting speckly on there and muddy, then you're either loading heavily with your wand. And then the other thing is, I noticed a lot of people are not cleaning their wand in between colors. So let's say here, I'm cleaning my wand really good here, and then I'm going to go into my color. So let's say if I wanted to go up here, I'm loading, nice, and the whole coverage is on here. It's really buttery. And then I can go in here and start blending. And if I start seeing the paper, that's too much. Like, I should really move through. And I want that to be nice and solid. Then I'm going to wipe off my wand again. So almost every application, unless I'm doing an intentional color mixing, I want to wipe off my wand. This PanPastel goes on for miles. You're not wasting it. You're just using it in a different way. So I can mix both of these in here. And now I can have the middle. And I'm going to move on. And you can see how much this is so much more butterier than this over here. So if I'm just tapping like this, really light on the tip here, and I go in here and I'm blending in, and I think I'm painting, right? I'm going, and I'm you're living on the lower layer. Living on the lower, it's like, could be an acronym, but you're gonna get that texture just continuously showing up throughout your work. And some of it's just, gaining confidence. But if I was just living here, my wand is also feeling that. It's rubbing constantly. And so I'm thinking I'm painting, because give yourself some slack here. You're taking in all kinds of new things. You're thinking about value, you're thinking about maybe following a lesson, and all of those things can add up. So, we can only take in so much. And that's why I was like, you know what? When I come home, I'm going to really go over some of these foundational things that can really level your work up. Now, if I was going in and I was working on a face here, I might pull certain colors down, but I'm also, I can load half my wand. I don't need to load all the wand, depending on types of spaces I'm trying to cover. But let's see if we go up here and I wanted to kind of start blending in. You can see this harsh line that's coming up right there. And it looks kind of like the paper's going to start coming out. So I have to do a thing called, I'm making a transition where I will load both of them. And then before it starts picking up, now you're like, well, what does it look like when it picks up? It'll start picking up what's on the bottom. Like right there, it's not doing it. Let's see. I have quite a bit in here. But if I go back and touch and it starts picking it up, that means I need to go load more. So I will go in here and I can take the white and now really lightly pressure, bring that into a blend. Now, with that said, you're going to have where you're going to be going back and forth. So I am like a little bunny nose, touching it right here when I'm on the upper layers. And I know if I'm going to go back and add more in there, I have to be really intentional. And I can still add another layer like a bunny nose, like I said, and go down. And that's going to create that really buttery transition. Now I can go up here and create transitions up here too, where I'm mixing both of them on the wand. And then I'm going to go down and start blending, and I add. Then I go really light when I know I have quite a bit in here. And then if I feel like the colors are contaminating, I need to wipe my wand off. And then I'm going to have to load it with one of the colors. So this is what really helps me make a decision for a color. Like I can go, okay, I want this orange shade in here because I know that's what I don't want to have to mix really heavily. And now I can go out with that orange shade. Now I'm really interested personally in leaving some of those brush strokes and not having it go like super smooth. But you can go super smooth. It just takes that time to go back and forth. And you can see how I'm still working on that upper layer. And when I start seeing it kind of start give away, then I gotta add some more wiping off on my wand. And then I can add more, wiping off with my wand. So you need to wipe off on your wand way more than you would think. So I'm building that up now. And I'm mixing as I go onto the paper. So that's a real big thing, is realizing you're doing some of that mixing on the paper. So the black is something that I've been obsessed about. I want to be able to do my portraits on the black. But let's say, you know, I had a person in my Facebook group that was working on a nose, and I was out of town. So I thought, well, I'll demo that right here today. And she was working on the skin in here. Now I can blend this all in till the cows come home and just keep going. I don't know where that saying came from, but it's interesting how we have some sayings. But you know, keep your eye on, this is the butter. And then I have here. So she's trying to, you know, get that shadow in there or whatever on the nose. And she's trying to go back and forth, and it's frustrating. Now, the one thing that I show everybody is you can erase. That's another thing I love with the paper. It's super easy to erase on this paper. It does not leave a halo that much. And that's one way of working with some things too. So let's say I have this face on here. Well, I need to go in and load my wand enough to get off the bottom layer. So let's say I get this off the bottom layer. Now it's feathery, like a bunny's nose, like I'm trying to explain there. And then I want to bring out a highlight in the center. Wiped off my wand. Whenever I go out, unless you see me over here, I'm wiping my wand off. And then I'm blending in between. And I'm staying on this upper layer because it gives me something to work with. So you can see how if I go in here and I go too hard, so if I wipe off my wand all the way, like this, and I want to go in there, I will literally pull up from that layer. So this is going to pull and take away your pastel. That is something that took me a very long time to be able to explain what I was doing. So if you have a fresh wand that has been totally cold, wiped off, and you go in, you're going to take away. So that is something to learn, you know, especially with the darker colors. When you start getting more into this value of the paper, that's going to work for you. Because like say I had a gradient right here and I wanted to utilize the paper a little more, and I didn't mind if the paper was showing through with some of that, and I wanted to gradient it down. Well, it's a clean wand and it's going to take pastel away. So then I can create shadows and things like that. There are some times where I don't mind it showing through, or I can use a darker application and tap into the dark. And now I'm going to get up on that higher layer, but I got to get those darks in there. And then whenever you add dark to a color, it's going to go even darker. That's how this system is built. And so I'm building up. I wiped off my wand. And now I like orange shade. That's one of my favorites. And now I'm like a bunny's nose right here on this top layer. And I'm being really gentle. So you can see how I can create that value shift, but I got to get the colors in there first to do so. All right, I'm going to look at chat real quick, get a little drink of water, and then I will read through here. Oh, he doesn't like it, says Laura. Okay. You're welcome, Anne. Rena, hello. So glad that you made it here today. Yes, I have cats, but it's Allison, one of the guests. But it's Allison, one of the guests at the retreat. Oh, this is Allison. Oh, hi, Allison. I'm so glad you made it today. Oh, that's exciting. I didn't know that was you up there. All your little emojis. I don't know what that was. That was funny. Makes it look more painterly. That's right, Sarah. Beautifully explained, says Angela. Well, that makes me happy. Paula's in the house. Welcome, Paula. So glad that you made it here today. Lori's here. Oh, my bestie's here. Hello, Lori. I've known Lori for over, gosh, well, our wedding anniversary is this month. It's actually this next week, and it's 28 years. I thought it was 29, but it's 28. But Lori and I have known each other for 29 years because we met the year before I got married, back when in the break room at our work that we worked at, Grizzly Industrial. I worked in the graphics department and she was in data entry, and she was over there. I have to show, because you haven't been here in a while, Lori. I'm going to show it. She taught me how to make these little precious teddy bears. And so she was sitting over there one day and I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm making miniature teddy bears. Look at what she makes, guys. She's super talented. Look at this little guy. So this is one of them. They're fully jointed and all of that. So she is uber talented. She's into PanPastel too. She's the one who actually introduced me to PanPastel. She's like, Dawn, you got to check out this art supply. And I'm like, Lori, I do not need another art supply. Imagine if I would have turned and walked away that day and talked her out of it. So she is an amazing soul. So glad that you're here today, Lori. Allison said, I was wiping off my keyboard for the first time on YouTube. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Allison. Peg says, a visual demo helps to clarify application process. Yes, that is so awesome. Yes, Lori. I know, imagine, right? I know I would not be here today if my friend Lori wasn't in my life. Like, she's the catalyst of creativity and interest and intrigue. Like, she's got such a curiosity about her and she goes deep. Like, we went into encaustics together, and that's what led me into PanPastel. We were making our own encaustic paints. Like, it's amazing. And we dyed our own, upcycled cashmere, and that's because of her. She's amazing. So she's on Instagram if you find her. But I know, isn't that Teddy so sweet? She's amazing. All right. So I've showed you the Buttery thing here, and I've showed you how to build up. If you are on that layer, you need to get off the bottom layer. So that's what, if you see any of this dark paper, you got to get off the bottom layer. And I'm going to talk to you about that, the dark paper, about really utilizing it and being able to claim your whites. We're going to talk about that here next. I want you to see my towel. I don't show it all the time. It could be a little, an abstract. We could have a little abstract towel. Look how much I'm wiping off, guys. Like, I wipe off a lot. Now, there was, I won't name any names, one amazing soul at the art retreat that got a little friendly with her towel, and she was holding it and had it in her lap and had it all over the place. You want to keep this in a very secure place. Let's see here. I have, where if I just tilt this down, you might be able to see here. Oh, it's on, that one's not on the magnet. This one is. Here. See how I have mine clamped down right there? It's clamped onto my palette. So I don't want to touch it. I don't touch it with my hand until I go move it or flip it. And then I will gently, without fluffing it, because this is a very fine pastel, it doesn't shed. And then I'm going to fold my towel, and then I'll work at it like this way. But I'm very conservative with that because I don't blow in my studio, and I don't want, the towel is microfiber. If you don't like that texture, you know, you can find another texture. There was a student that didn't love the texture, and you can find other things that would grip on a little bit better than a paper towel. If you can find it moving around on a paper towel and stuff, you want something that will grip it. You can see there's nothing moving around here, and it doesn't fall off and things like that. So you want to, here just a second, I realize my phone is not on Do Not Disturb. We don't want that to happen where I got scared. And then I scared all of you when my brother called, if you guys don't remember. So really keep your place where you're wiping off your towel secure, or keep it in a nice spot where it's, you know, tidy. Like, if that's one area I'm pretty like diligent about. So now what we're going to go through here is, if I'm claiming my whites, I usually like to have a light wand when I start out with that. Realize that the wands are just part of the process. You're going to go through quite a few of these in the beginning. It's just part of it, but you will get better. And remember, you can flip them over and all of that too. So I got my nice freshie, and let's just say right here, you know, or even right here, we can say in the center. Let me erase it up a little bit. And I have to unpack everything. It's all still packed from the retreat. So I was like, that's what I was doing before the live, is getting everything unpacked. It was amazing. I got home on Friday night at 12:30 in the morning. My flight was delayed on the way home, and I was home, like, it would have been 3 a.m. in the morning, my time on the East Coast, when I got home. It was crazy. The sleep was a little challenging, I'm not gonna lie. So just to like get you guys to really loosen up, is we want to just erase here. Let's just pretend right here is our light source. We have our light source coming right here. And we didn't know it was going to be our light source until now, because we're just playing, we're having fun, we're just showing up. So you can see how this can bring us all the way down. Now, this eraser is my Vanish All 4-in-1 eraser. All my OGs here, my pastel peeps. You guys all know about it, but it is my favorite eraser because it doesn't leave a ghosting, a residue. Some of these erasers can have a little bit of like a chemical residue in them. So it doesn't do that. It also encapsulates. That's the best way I can put it. If you see how it rolls, like when I do this, let me see if I can catch some of it. It's right here. So you see how that, it encapsulates the pastel so it does not fluff it. I've had people go, well, I just use a magic eraser. Yeah, you do not want to intentionally fluff your pastel. So that is something to think about too. All right, so on a dark paper, do I always have everything figured out? I don't always have it figured out, because I like to leave a little bit of mystery in my life. Like, how many of you, you know, like a little bit of creative mystery? Like, you don't want it all figured out. Raise your hand in chat if you're one of them. I know I'm one of them. I love to have just a little bit of unknown, like maybe I got my colors figured out. I know I'm making an owl. I know I want to abstract that owl out, and I have some intention, but I do not have it all figured out. Susan Thames is in the house. I know she doesn't like to have it all figured out. She's an explorer of color. She's been having a great time going through some of my lessons with the line art and changing the colors up, because she's been in this membership for over a year now, and she's done a lot of showing up. So she's in explore mode, which I adore. Susan's one of them. Louise likes a little bit of, you know, mystery. Paula likes some mystery. So, you know, it's nice to be able to go back and forth. You know, I'm not a hyper realism. I love some realism. I love some detail in my focal point, but I'm not like trying to go work through the painting methodically. That's just not where I get my joy. And some people find joy in that. That's why I love abstract so much. I'm going to be doing more of that in the lives. I have a plan with this that will be fun. But with that, we know that that's our lights. So if I have my lights there, I want to claim them if I know that's what they're going to be. And I want to claim them. Here's the gold nugget, guys. Write it down if it helps. I want to claim my whites on the initial layer. You don't want to sit there and go, oh, right here, that's where I want my whites, and think you're going to get a pure white on top of these two colors, or even if it's blended in a lot. Could I do it? Yes, I could probably do it, but you know, I do have over 7 years experience. I know how I can push this medium to its max, because that's been my thing. So number one, we also want to wipe off onto a clean towel consistently. If you have your whole thing, I've already folded my towel over, guys. I'm not wiping in here anymore, especially now that I know I'm going to my lights. So I fold over my towel, I got my towel here, and now I know this is where my light is going to be. I want it to be like a sunset. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to claim my lights in here. Now look at that buttery. It is almost blowing out the camera because it is the highest on the value scale. So here's my trusty value scale. And value is your superpower. Talked about this a lot. I got a lot of classes on this. You definitely want to tap in your values. And I have created a 0 value there, which is kind of hard to do. It's between a 0 and a 1. And you're wanting to be able to claim that when you have your brightest spot on your painting. Your focal point, you want to put those brights that takes the eye right to the spot in the piece that you want to shine. So that is a focal point most of the time. So I got my lights in here. Now let's say I want to put some yellow in there. So I'm going to go in here and I got them in here. Now I got these lines in here that are starting. I'm going to start, do I have enough on my wand to blend that a little bit? I do a little bit. Now I know I'm okay with having a little bit of yellow, but I really want it to be white in the center. So I'm wiping off my wand, wiped it off. I'm going to go dip into the white again. And now I'm creating a blend. Soft as a little bunny's nose. Like I'm not digging in, because if you dig in, this is what it's going to be like. And if you dig in and you don't have it on your wand, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to pull up and you're going to start seeing the paper through. So if I want butter, I got to go in with butter, but I'm also dipping in. Now, try to go maybe, if you find you're hanging out on the lower layer of the paper, try to maybe go the other way. There was a student that I was like, all right, you're hanging out down there. Let's get you off by adding a little bit more and going in with intention. Because sometimes we're so, worried, like trying to get the piece that we're trying to make, we don't even think about these anymore. So you can see here now I've claimed my white. Now if I know that there is, a specific part on a nose and I have a hard time claiming that white, I could erase that down. For instance, like right here, and I was right here and I had this face going, and I go into there and I'm pulling now. And you can see the texture of the paper a little bit there, which it's not horrible. You can have some of the texture of the paper. But if you want really vibrant, creamy, buttery yumminess that you see that these PanPastels can create, we have to get up off the lower layer. So now I could go in here and go, okay, can I get that buttery layer by going in right here and creating that highlight? Now I can, because I know I'm being super soft. And I can bring this section up if that was like a nose. Because I'm learning with pressure how much to add and application where, you know, if they start pulling off, then that means I have to add more. So if it starts coming off the paper, got to add more. So I'm doing like dun, 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 dun. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wipe, wipe, wipe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wipe, 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 wipe. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're not doing something now, if I was working with something small, I don't have to go as heavy, you know, like, but you can see if I'm coming in right here, it's going to start lifting that buttery. So I still need to make sure I have enough if I'm going small. Do I have to like float back and forth all the time? This is a dance. We are dancing with these colors. So when you want to dance, you got to figure out how that partner is going to work with you. You can't just sit there and go, I'm the lead, and you're going to just follow and get the results. So we're partnering with the PanPastel, and we're building a relationship. And maybe, you know, each time you show up, you're going to become a better partner and a better dancer to create those beautiful buttery layers. So I'm going to check on chat. Oh, don't have any in the chat, but I got a great group here. I got over 50 of you. It says 50 on my thing. That's pretty exciting. So I just tap off my paper. And is there any questions? I would love to take some questions. I'm thinking I'm going to have a little extra time today. I thought I would take what I have up here and just play with it and show you how I could just play off this. So if there's any questions, this is definitely the time to ask. If you would like me to demonstrate anything else, I can do that. I will show this while you guys are maybe thinking of your questions. I'll give you a moment here. Turquoise is one of the weakest colors on the palette. It just is. It's just a little bit, because sometimes like turquoise and like burnt sienna, those are made up of multiple colors in the spectrum. So red, blue, and yellow. They're made up with a mixture that sometimes when they have a certain mixture, they're just not as strong. So turquoise, I would say, is the queen of that. This is what I've noticed. So if I'm working with turquoise, it is going to sometimes be a little bit, right now it's working great because I've got it, I'm applying it in that buttery fashion, but it will knock off quicker than any of them. So now I'm going out here, let me zoom out a little bit. All right, I think my camera's following me. I told it not to do that, but it's not listening. I have this little thing that's auto framing, so I got to turn that off really quick. Just a second. I don't need it to auto frame. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to check it out here. So this color will drop off quicker than most. And I find when I mix it with these two, it creates a really beautiful buttery look to it. But if I was not being conscious of it, what it does is it lifts off super easy, where I feel like I'm wiping off my wand, I have nothing on my wand, it will lift up, I feel a little easier than some of the others. All right, let's see here. I'm so glad that the visual demo helps you guys. Louise says, Dawn, you talked about the light versus the dark paper, but I haven't really struggled with the light and the blending, etc. It looking muddy and not layering the same. Is the light paper different textually? No, the light paper is not different texture. You're dealing with a light paper that has all the light in it. So you're not having to push those darks super, super hard. Now, if you pushed and went the reverse and put this much dark on there, you'd probably have to navigate some of that texture. I was seeing if I had any around, but I really don't have a lot. Let's see. I don't know if it would work the same on here. I have this eye. Let me do a test, because I'm always about testing. But let me get my darker wand. All right, so if I'm living on the bottom layer here, you're going to start seeing the texture of the paper. So if I'm working, I can see it here. Just got to get it enough here. See the textures of the paper? See that? You're seeing it. It's just different. So it's there. It might not be as difficult, but it's definitely there. It's just you're probably maybe just not seeing it as much. So sometimes the cream paper, maybe that's something that naturally, if you're living on the bottom of the dark paper, maybe you're not living on the bottom of the light paper as much. It's just something to go be aware of when you start working and are able to kind of be able to kind of think about that. Like go try it out and see how that feels. All right. Do you use blending medium? You know what? I'm just starting to find value in the colorless blender. Let me see if I think I have this. I'm trying to see where it's at. I think it's right here. Just a second, guys. It's a great question. I have my colorless blender right here, and I have learned to be able to explain why the colorless blender works, and I'm really happy about that. So the colorless blender, let's just replace right here from our raw umber tint. And this is my colorless blender. Now what the colorless blender is, let me show you that on here. I'll just put it up here. It's more of a transparent, so it's like a glaze in a way, like a blending medium. So you have that. Wiping off my wand, I'm going to clean off my white, wiping that off onto the towel, and then I'm going to bring white in here. So the white is opaque, and the blending colorless blender is translucent. It's just not opaque. So I had a student that I think got the wrong color by accident sent to them. They thought that was white. And she did a whole painting, and I was like, what is it? And oh my gosh, I was so excited to find out that there was something. She had the colorless blender as her white. So that was a relief to know, you know, I was like, oh my gosh, that must have been a little challenging. So the colorless blender, you're basically working with a translucent white. So it still changes color. As you can see on the dark paper, you're going to notice it a lot more than you would on an ivory paper. Now we can even go to an ivory paper here. Let me get another one. I think I got another corner here. Well, I'll just do it right here. I have a fairly light wand. So if I put it onto there, you're not going to really see it that much. So I really think, I mean, I don't even think you guys can see it at all. So if I'm on an ivory light paper and I know I'm working with a face, I would be able to do blending with that and have it be a little more flawless. So this is a stick pastel right here, so I'm not going to be able to do it as easy, but you can see I have some colorless blender here, and I can tap that. I don't usually touch sticks once they're down, but it'll bump off, but you can see how it'll just kind of blend in there. And what it does is it also does not contribute more pigment into that area. So if I've already got where I want the pigment, so I'm going to demo on the black. So you're not going to, it works well on the black when I'm on a layer like this. So let's say I got here, now I want to blend these two spots without adding more of the pigment anywhere. I don't really want, I want to just blend them. So I can load up my colorless blender, and then I can, like a bunny nose, like really gentle, go and start blending. And what it's going to do is it loads my wand to the point where I'm not taking away from the underlayer. That's another thing it's doing. I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to add more colorless blender, and then it's going to fill in that to where it's not going to take away as harsh. It still will, like it starts, it will move around and blend a bit, but it's not going to go into your under layers like it would if I just had a, you know, freshly wiped wand. Now, if I had a freshly wiped wand and I went over here to blend those two, it's just going to take away. See that? So you get a more harsh line. So if I want to blend it and have it be softer and not have to go put a whole bunch of pigment on here, I can use that colorless blender and look and see how that works. So you're going to get where it took me, I will say, about 7 years. Like I would say just this last year I started using the colorless blender. I did not really see the value in it. It doesn't really fit with my creative process sometimes unless I'm doing some really fine blending, like moments, like in a portrait. I used it in my portrait class that I did. I think I used it in the School of Thoughts, which it worked amazing with. So it's definitely worth the investment in the sense of like being able to use it. But you can see on the dark paper here, it does not work on the dark paper the same way. I would have rather, in this point, let's see the difference. I would have rather blended this out, just having it blend out into the darkness with the color that it is and played with it this way instead of having it look like a translucent. All right, I'm gonna go look and see what other questions are. Let me get some water. Oh, thank you, Shiva. Yeah, all of you guys here, I have so many of you here today, which I'm absolutely thrilled. If you could just right now, take a moment and like the video. If you're watching on TV, you can always go on your phone and like the video. It really helps out my channel. I really appreciate that. And as always, if you're watching the replay, I'm trying to talk about this more. I always love hearing your thoughts. Like, share your thoughts in the replay. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what your challenges are. I try to like comment on everything, and that also helps with engagement. So I would love that. You know, tell me what your favorite colors are. Tell me if you're living on the bottom of on the bottom layer. You know, I would love to hear that. So please, would love to hear from you because I know there's a lot of replay watchers. I know there is. Okay, Deborah, thank you for your question. So glad you're here. I think it's your first time in chat. And let's see. Shiva says you don't like texture. Okay, you want it to be more smooth. So at Sarah, let's see. Eek, it's snowing. Where do you live? It's probably down here lower. I'm in a place called Hanmer Springs in New Zealand. Wow, that's amazing. An alpine village in the South Island. Oh, that sounds amazing. I might have to look that up. All right. Let's see here. Angela says, do you double dip or go into one color and straight into the next? I think I answered that. I will double dip if I don't have any contaminants on my wand. So if I just need to get more of this yellow to bring this section out like this, I got to go in the yellow. And then for say I know I'm going to go into the red, then I will keep the yellow on my wand because if I want it to be orange or say I'm going back into this way, I can go into the orange and then create that transition and blend. So it's not saying I'm going in and out all the time. I'm just saying if you're living on that layer, we have to be a little bit more conscious if we're pulling up from that bottom layer. Like you can see right here, if I wanted that to be smooth, then I would have to like work on that a little bit and go back and forth. But I will say that the colorless blender, when I'm up off the bottom layer and I have my own colors here, I can use that colorless blender to smooth things out if I want to be smooth. I'm personally leaning into more brush strokes, more intentional strokes, like, you know, being able to go on here and you know, keep a stroke in here and move through it. Like I like that look. So you have to find out what you're liking and what you're not. With faces, like for instance, let me grab this one. I did this one on the cream paper, so you know, this one was a little bit different. It's not as painterly, but then I leave some of the areas on the outside to be more painterly. So I'll show you that. Like this one, her face is more smooth. I did a lot of the finishing, and this was on a light paper. Now let me show you a dark paper. I have this one, I think, is on a dark paper. Let me double check that. No, that's on a light paper too. Just a second. Grabbing one on a dark paper. Now this one's a work in progress. This has gotten where I've just gotten the blocking in stage. So I'm just starting to go through my next pass. And that is another thing that Ann Cannon really helped me with some feedback, is in my next lessons, I'm going to be really able to just call out what layer you're on, what stage you're on in the painting. And so you'll know where you're going and where you should be and where you're at. Yeah, right? Where you're going, where you should be, and where you're at. I like that. So I'm going to be able to verbalize that a lot more. And I think that's going to really level up my classes, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. And I can't thank Ann enough for having the courage just to give me some of that feedback during the one-on-one. So that was awesome. So this one is a woman on the dark. So this is the dark paper. So you can see I want some of those brush strokes to stay. And I want it to be more painterly. So with that, I'm intentionally doing that and trying to make transitions. So the more I lean into that, the more I find I am happier with that. So you can see on this, right here is, it's funny, see that smear right there? I had it hung up on the wall, and my husband leaned his rear end against it, and I did the same. So we both had an imprint of her right here, which is super easy to fix. But I like to hang mine on the wall. They're just all hung over here on my wall until I finish, or I put them on panel board. But I've actually run out of my panel board, so that's a whole nother thing. So I'm just going to stick this over here. I'll be right back, and then I'll answer the rest of your guys' questions. Currently working on landscapes with stick pastels, but I want to incorporate PanPastels. Any tips for layering order when using both? Yeah. Oh, no. Like this page, I do landscapes all the way from beginning to end with just PanPastel. All my paintings are mostly beginning to end with PanPastel. I have landscapes right here, my own whimsical ones. These are great questions today, folks. Great questions. So this is my own whimsical landscape. I do approach mine a little differently, but this is about, let's see here. I have two of them on there. All right, that's better. So this is the blocked in stage. I have, basically, I've done a block in stage, and now I'm just starting to go through, and I have a choice that I started putting sticks on. So it can be used as an underpainting, or I can take it all the way for PanPastel. It's up to me. I have sticks in right here, and I was going to do a little bit of combo of both. But as you can see here, I really can go both ways with this, and I can bring out the light and just keep going. There's no limit, because especially with the paper I use, I can do everything in PanPastel. So I do like to do sticks at times, and so that's what you're seeing here is the beginning of me shifting to sticks. So if you're a landscape artist, and a lot of traditional pastelists will use PanPastel just for tinting and getting texture on their underlayer, doing an underpainting. I use it for all my stages, and that's what I really love. I love pushing this medium all the way to its max. And so if you think about this, guys, don't label yourself. I highly suggest keeping an open mind. And say you're doing landscapes, and you're doing portraits, and you're doing this. They're the same process. It's just a different subject matter. So I can do any subject matter I want with this medium from beginning to end. And yeah, I love to incorporate pencils in the final parts. You know, I love to bring them in on this part. Pencil, this kind of like took someone to another level at the retreat. This is soft pastel. The sticks are soft pastel. The PanPastel soft pastel. They're all the same medium. The PanPastel is the ultra fine. It's basically painting with pigment. Your sticks are mini pastel sticks. They're just like sticks. They're just a medium hardness. And you can even get them in soft, which is the Caran d'Ache. This is a Carbothello, which is more medium. The Caran d'Ache is softer. So you're basically painting with medium sticks, right? So you can use all of them together, but you do not want to use the sticks on the bottom layer. They just don't work. And guys, go explore. Take a little scrap piece of paper out. See what it feels like. Take a 5x7 and put sticks on the bottom and try to put PanPastel on the top. See what that feels like. Do pencils on the bottom and then put PanPastel on the top. See what that's like. I like putting some pencils on the bottom because I feel like I'm scribbling like acrylic paint, and then I knock some of it away. I use some of it as an outline. I do all kinds of stuff like that. Push this medium to its max. It has this amazing ability. It's used all the time in mixed media too. It's one of the reasons why Golden bought it. And I'm sure, I'm not like speaking for them, but they are a mixed media company. So it can be used in so many different ways. For me, I like trying to fit it in to this pastel traditional way, but making it look like mixed media, but I'm really using the same medium. So some people will go, oh, it looks like I'm using 3 different mediums, but I know I'm just pushing, it's all pigment. If I'm doing acrylic and I'm doing oil and I'm doing watercolor, it's all the same pigment. They're just different binders. So you're working with something, and I'm just choosing to stay in the dry medium because it's very approachable. I can show up for 2 minutes and walk away. I can show up for 5 seconds and walk away, and I'm not at a loss with any mixing or anything. It's if I go and I'm with my kids and I go out to something, I can just show up for a couple minutes and come back. So that's what I love about it. All right. Got that. Let me see the questions. All right. How many wand tips would you go through if you were doing a painting, says Sarah. So Sarah, if I was working on a 9x12, I could go through 3. 5 on a rough day, depending on what I'm trying to do. Sometimes it's just 2. Sometimes they last. So it's really like a live stream. I will go through wands like nobody's business because I'm not connected with the wands. So it all depends. And realize that your hand's different than mine, and you're gonna figure it out. So it's just really kind of going with intention that I want to create butter and I want to get off that bottom layer. And that is a huge one, you know. I don't know how I got those marks in there, but I really dented my paper. And I've never seen this paper dented before. I wonder if it got marked up earlier and now I'm just seeing it now. That's interesting. It has to be a mark from something previously because that usually does not mark up. So I'll just work through it and that's totally fine. So I'm buttery, buttery, buttery. So it just takes practice. Even when you walk away from here, you're still going to have to practice. I wipe off my wand. Remember to wipe your wand off. All right, let's see here. Okay, how many wand tips? Okay, currently working on, got that. Do you use blending media? I did that. Oh, did you guys lose audio? Oh, I hope not. Refresh. Refresh. Do you wash your cloth? That's a great question, Angela. Yeah, I have a bin over there, like a plastic bin, and I put all my dirties in here, all in there, and they only get washed by themselves with their own cloth friends, pastel cloth friends. I don't mix them in the family cloths. I don't mix them in the family laundry. They're all done by themselves, and I do a heavy duty load. I use regular soap, whatever soap you're using, but do not use dryer sheets or fabric softener with them. okay? You don't want to do that because fabric softener will take that kind of microfiber magic and throw it out the door, and then you're navigating that. Okay. You can't do much with the TV. I think you might be able to do some, Chrisella, but most of the time, it's interesting because if you're commenting, then you must be on your phone or a tablet with your TV. So I've always had to do it on a separate device. But JC says she does it. You might be able to point your wand to it and hit over like. I think you might be able to do it. JC says she's learning so much today. I'm so excited because I really was like, I got to get these guys off the bottom layer. I want them to have that rich and lovely experience. So that makes my day. Okay, let's see. Oh, good, Wolf. I'm glad that you made it today. You're going to have to watch from the beginning if you just made it because I already did the major demo here of how to create that buttery goodness. And so tell me how you like it if you go back and watch the replay. I noticed you went from yellow pan to the white pan. Does that muddy your pan? It sure does. So if I go like this and go into my yellow, you see, here, let me just put it in here. See? It's muddy in there. Now, a lot of times I like to create color harmony. You'll see in my lessons that I'm all talking about color harmony and I'm having a heyday with it. So I don't mind them to be in there together. They're playing well together right now. So if I was going in here and I'm okay, I still have that yellow, but then I realize I want to switch. I don't really want to go into this brown. So I would clean the whole thing like this and then I wipe it off. So I just do a full swipe. Now, sometimes your whites get a little bit of like a roughness to them. That is one question I hope to ask Golden when I go there. So I want to talk to him about that because I don't understand what that is. But I find if you can scrape it down a little bit and sometimes it will fully go away with like the back of a razor blade or a sharper thing, and you can get that down. But yeah, I'll just wipe off my whole wand, and then I call this kind of priming my wand. If I was going white, I primed it with white, now I wipe it off. Then I go in with my white and I can wipe it off. And now my wand's kind of primed white where it's not going to really push as much, because if you are using an ivory paper, it's going to see contamination way more than the black paper. So that's a big one. All right. I just found the live while eating breakfast and I have to go to work. Oh, good. Well, catch the replay, Paula. I'm so glad that you made it all the way from Australia. Struggling with lightening reds without turning them pink. Well, Wolfling, that is a great one because you can't lighten reds much more. Here's something to think about. This red, it might look a little orange to you. I don't know how it's looking on your guys' screen. I'm really curious. I'm going to look over here. It might look a little orange. I've got to fix my white balance, but this is the core color, and the family is made up as a core family, where in the red family, this is one that everything from that family is made from. So with that said, this has the highest chroma. Chroma meaning pigment. So your pigment, they found this formula right here to where the pigment was its best, its most glorious. And that's why you don't see the PanPastel family where all the values are in the same as each family, because they are basing, which that's what I'm thinking they're doing, is they're basing their families off chroma. So wherever this one goes, that is the core. Now, if I bring this up, I really can't go any lighter with the red. This is as light as the red goes. So if I'm going to use it in its purity, I'm going to go in here with my red here, and I'm doing mushrooms. That's as red as I'm going to be able to get it. If I go and put white into this red, it goes straight to pink. And so that is the next family member right here. That is why this is the next step in the family. So this red medium and red light, this one's the red light. that is where you go into pink. And that's where in all of the colors, if you're mixing red, you're gonna have the same thing. So the only, you know, way that I can play with this is I'm gonna actually push it back darker around it to bring out the light in the painting. Let me see if I have anything that shows you that right here. And this is a great lead in. So my little mushy here, I know that's as bright as I was going to be able to get it. So I even used the brightest red pencil I have, which is my 305, which is my vermilion red. So you're going to be able to in vermilion, but then you're going to go to an orange red because this has more orange in it. So if I put it over in the palette, you can kind of see it a little bit different here. So with that said, that's as bright as you're going to be able to go. Like that's where we're at. This little piece right here is my free, absolutely free to introduction to PanPastel lesson. You get color mixing in there. You get a basic setup with like 5 colors to make this. I think it's even, yeah, it's like 4 or 5 colors. So maybe it's 4 to make this. And it's only like a couple pencils and the paper. I walk you through a full introduction of PanPastel. I get you all set up where it's not overwhelming. I'm sure a lot of you have pastel, you know, stashed around, especially us mixed media artists, because that's where I came from. And I walk you through. If you don't have the exact same colors, you can use different colors. And you get the line art, and you get a full overview of PanPastel, so you can get started with confidence. So you just have to hop on over. I will link this up really quick, and you just have to you can hop over to my website, and you sign up for my newsletter. And then once you subscribe, you're going to be sent a link to join. So first you join the newsletter, then you have to go join the free library. So I'm going to put this in chat here. Hey, Jonas is here, and Michelle, and Helene. Ari's here. You guys all snuck in. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, here's the link to the free thing. I'm going to pin this, and it's going to be pinned to the top. So you all should be able to see that at the top. Join my free library. This is not the only thing in there. You will have I think there's like 5 lessons in there. I have a watercolor underpainting one where you're doing splashes and all of that. A lot of fun. That's a lot like this one right here. I have that in there. But I show you and I do a heart, but you kind of get this vibe. So you'll be able to learn that technique in there. You'll also be able to learn my black and gold technique, which is in there. I taught that at my retreat just last week. All the people at the retreat really love that lesson too. So yeah, so that's your question answered about the reds. And you guys can, oh, that's not going to stick. So I'm going to stick that right here. Man, I'm thirsty. I love this. I really appreciate the push to drive the medium and not let the medium drive her. That's awesome, Paige. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, Wolf, I hope that helped you out with that. Because no matter if you go up any higher in the value from that chroma, you're going to get pink. Rena's here. Thank you so much, Rena. I'm so glad that you like that. Michelle, I'm so stoked that you're here. You're going to have to watch some of the replay. All right? Do you use fixatives at all? Angela, I should give you're number 2 today with the top fan. Luis is number 1 today. But you're running up second with the most engaged. I love all your questions. It is a great question. This paper is UART, also like Clairefontaine Matte and Canson Velvet, Mia Tente's Velvet. All of those papers are specifically designed so you do not have to use fixative. PanPastel might seem fragile and sensitive, but I'm here to demystify it here. I mean, I can smear it, sure, but it takes a lot of work to really get it to smear. Like I showed you on the thing, you know, yeah, if I wipe my thing across, it comes off, but it's not super gentle. Like I'm not gonna blow it off my paper. Is it meant to be touched after the painting's done? No, it's not. I have a lot of things on YouTube, and I also have it in my free library of how to care for your pastel painting. When I'm all done, I take a piece of glassine. Tracing paper will pick up a little bit more, but it works. Glassine has a wax on it, and I fold that over and cover my pastel painting until I frame it. If you're at home and you're doing your own framing and you just want to frame your painting, go get a mat and stick it over it and just frame it from your craft store. It doesn't need to be that finicky. Now, if I'm selling my work, which it's a great lead in to what's going on, November 4th, I'm having another auction with Stephanie Gagos on her Facebook group. It's Auctions with Stephanie Gagos. If you want to look that up on Facebook, they're having an auction right now. They just finished one called the Quirk Show. Their next one is the Ornament Show, which my good friend Jody's in. And then I will be in the Handmade Holiday Show, and I am starting it off with my solo day. I will have over 30 to 35 paintings, original paintings in there. And I don't fixate put any fixative on them. I've sold them for years. If you put fixative on this, it's going to take all of these lights and knock them totally down. And if I did, I could put fixative on them, like use a Selenier and be really gentle, like really soft, and do like 7 of those. And then it probably would be okay, but I'd have to be really careful. I don't need to. I tap this off, I blow it off, I ship them all over the world, people frame them. Do they have to beat off the framers who want to put fixative on my paintings? Heck yeah. I know Laura has had to do that and some other people. So tell them no, they don't need to do it. And if you don't want fixative on your painting, you don't have to do it. It's a myth. You don't. Even if I did it on paper, which I do a lot, black paper, you don't need to put fixative on it. Fixative, even if it was something that could do fixative, it can speckle if it comes out wrong and spurts on there. It's just not necessary. So just like some mediums, it's not meant to be, a touch like this and all of that. Yeah, can I touch it and then kind of knock it down? 100%. Yeah, I can touch it. It's not that fragile, but I hope that answers and gives you more confidence with soft pastel, because that's one of the biggest myths. Oh, Laura, you're so sweet. You already answered it, but I went off on a whole tangent. Only me, I'm back with audio on headphones. Who knows? I did try to add CC. I wonder if it's a refresh, and sometimes you have to go out, refresh, and come back in. It is something that I've heard some people have had that happen and they're saying. Martha, great statement. Martha Barnett, welcome. So glad you're here today. She uses fixative on some of the underlayers. Yes, there is a Karen McGullis who's a stick pastelist. She demos her a lot, pushing those blacks back with her fixative. I use it with gold on some of those layers. I will make sure my gold is going to stay put because it's more sensitive. So there are great, if I want to knock something back and have it not move, like say I had this going, but I didn't really put my whites in yet because I would kind of plan for it. But even if I did, and I wanted this not to move, I could put fixative on it and then still work on the layers. It's not to say no, don't do it. It's just you got to know why you're using it and have intention. So intention is everything. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? If you're in fear, don't use it. If you're just like, oh, I don't think, pastel is one of the most archival mediums out there. It will last for hundreds of years. You're basically painting with pure pigment. The sticks have more binders in them. The pastel pencils have their binders in them. PanPastel has the least amount of binders in them. All right. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. You're #1 on the engagement right now. I think that's fun. It's a new thing. You can click on it and see who's engaging. Oh, good, Wolf. I'm glad that you'll watch the replay. Your demo and explanation has been brilliant. You have left me so inspired. I can't wait to go play with my PanPastels. My job is done. I should just okay, I'm finished. It's finished. That makes my day. I literally was at the retreat and I was telling the group, we all kind of got to know each other, and Anne and Laura and quite a few of them, they're all there. And I'm like, I wasn't going to do a live today because it's a lot. The traveling and all the way to the East Coast was a lot, but it was amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what I'm doing for my live today. And these are those inspired lives that I really find are the most powerful. And they end up doing probably my best on YouTube. And so it really makes me happy when I get inspired to kind of know how to meet you where you're at, because I don't ever want to be where I'm so up here that you can't like connect with me. And these lives are all about connection for me. That's what they're about, because being artists, it can be really lonely, and we want to feel like we belong and connect with our peeps and other creatives. And I think art is powerful that way, and how it can connect us in that way. So it's one of the best things I've ever done was to be live with you guys. Jonas, I'm so glad you're here. And Michelle, that makes my day. Oh, Sarah, okay, you were the one finishing Amanita. I didn't know which Sarah it was. Oh, good. I hope I helped you out. And this is what I want to say. I hope you're hearing, Sarah. Email me. Email me. Reach out. If you are frustrated, reach out, and I can totally help you guys out. I know there's some people, if you have questions, email me, art@dawnvanderstoop.com. I love to be able to answer any questions. It might take me 24 hours to get back to you, but if you have questions that you haven't answered, I totally would rather have you come out and talk to me, because I'm here to walk with you on your journey, than for you to sit alone and frustrated. And that was the worst thing I would want to happen. So Helene is here. Are you going to Golden? That's exciting. Hi, Dawn and peeps. It's been so long. I love your buttery goodness, says Helene. Helene, you're a treasure. You've been coming here for so long. She's one of the OGs. Yes, I'm going to the Golden. Sam and Adele, which I've learned about this. So Sam and Adele are the founders of Golden, and they are the originals. And then I've learned that that's Mark Golden, who is Sam and Adele is his parents. And then I'm actually working with Emma Golden, who is the granddaughter of Sam and Adele. So they started up this foundation in upstate New York, and it's a barn that's been totally renovated. And the bottom floor is like apartments. So they have 3 apartments there, maybe another one for other people, I'm not sure, but there's apartments. And then you get your full studio space to yourself. And so you have your own studio space, your own apartment, and you live on site for 2 weeks. And you don't really leave much because it's super rural. I guess it's 10 acres, I'm thinking. They said they have snowshoes because it's supposed to, I'm going December 1st, and it's supposed to, it could snow. So I'm just really excited to be able to work with the Golden team, because you are actually just a few hundred yards away from their manufacturing site. So they moved. It took, I think, from what they said, like 3 months or something to move the PanPastel manufacturing site over to the Golden's manufacturing site. So I'll be working with like the research and development team they're going to show me about all the different, all their different mediums and all these different opportunities that I can to maybe stretch myself and learn new things. I want to talk to them about things that I feel like are in my way, and maybe they might have suggestions. So when I come back, guys, I cannot wait to share this with you, because you've been on this journey with me for so long. And so many of you have been cheering me on, and many of you have even been emailing Golden. So that's pretty exciting also. That video I did for the 53 new colors of Golden, they actually reached out and collaborated with me. And we worked together, and they took the video and they put all the branding on it. So I'm hoping to launch that too. So that's another side thing I'm doing with Golden. I am just absolutely thrilled. There was a Pastel Live event that just happened with Pastel Live. I hope to maybe join that one year. I'm going to see about maybe doing that. Maybe they'll let me in. Let me in. But that video went into that Pastel Live, and it is pretty exciting because it had information about my membership and my name and everything with their branding. So I'm pretty excited about that they wanted to use that video to represent their new color line. So that was very exciting. So all kinds of exciting things. I'm like obviously vibrating. It's super exciting. So yeah. So Jonas says, I like the mushroom and the colors. Thank you, Jonas. I'm so glad that you're here today. And Michelle, let's see. Let me see. Ouch, you take your fingerprints off using, oh, not when you're really light. I'm not pushing down light. I don't really use my fingers that much. Ours was weekend, just gone, 9:30 a.m. start now. Oh, let me see. Michelle, daylight savings. That's going to be coming soon. I don't know what day it is here. I have to go look. Let's see. It is true, lady. Wanted to spray so bad. I was adamant no. Glad you beat her off, Laura. Dawn, will you do a retreat on the West Coast? I'm looking into finding a place for that, because what I liked about Artist Rising, it was kind of in the, a middle ground of being a retreat and a workshop. So I don't know if I want to do a workshop, but I'm going to see. My next retreat I'm doing is Ireland. That is the end of June of 2026. Would love, if you're interested, come to Ireland with me. We're going to have excursions. We're going to have studio time. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to go with a whole Celtic vibe. So that was a lot of fun. And this week's pastel and cider lesson, I'm actually going to do the owl that I did at the retreat. So we all made this owl over here. I'm not done. I didn't get to finish it, but this was the owl that I walked everyone through. They did an amazing job. So I'm actually teaching this in my Pastel and Cider membership lesson. So I'll be able to really call out the steps. And then the members that are that went to the retreat, if they're part of my membership, then they can go in and actually watch it and have that pause and play option, which would be nice. So that's the lesson I'll be working on this week. Let's see here. This has been so great, Dawn. You brought it all together, inspired me again, and now I have to unpack my PanPastels. I'm so happy, and it was a pleasure to meet you, and I am just honored that I actually have a face and a person and your bright light to match with the name here. So this is lovely. Let's see. You're welcome, Sarah. We knew you win. That's so sweet. Oh my God, Dawn, can you pack me into your suitcase, please? Oh, that's so funny. That's really sweet. Amy says, you need to add the info from this video to your enchanted mushroom class. It would have avoided so many issues. I think that's a great feedback. I'm actually going to be putting this video in my getting started area in my pastel membership lesson, and I'll put it in the free area too. There's a few videos I want to put into the free area just to kind of guide people that way. So thank you so much, Amy. I will definitely be doing that. Helene says, wow, so exciting. I'm so glad I emailed them about you early on. I knew you were one of those people that emailed them. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonas. I'm glad you liked the owl. Michelle, thanks for cheering everyone on. I'm stoked that you're here. You're always really encouraging and sweet. So thank you so much. It just takes a minute to like the video down below. And again, I'm going to start saying it more and more. If you're watching the replay, drop a comment. Tell me where you're at in your journey. Tell me if you're living on the lower layer. You know, those types of things. I would love to hear from you. Louise says, I can vouch for Ireland. For anyone that's sitting on the fence, the studio there and the tours, etc. are just incredible. And of course, Dawn will be there, cherry on top. Oh, that's so sweet, Louise. Louise, did you go to one of Mulraney's retreats? I actually was able to talk to Catherine, who she went to multiple retreats at Mulraney, and she loved it. That's Mulraney, Ireland, is where we're going to be at. It is just this kind of out on the coast, a little bit rural, but you're still next to a town, and you get to do all these explorations and go in to eat in this really cute town of Mulraney and go on some guided tours and things like that. Okay, you took the one with Karina Coltes. Oh, good. I'm glad you had such a great time. Catherine took some of Ivy Newport's. She went there for those, and then she's thinking about maybe doing both, like booking for 2 of them and staying, because I am booked in right after Ivy Newport next year. So her and I are actually going to be able to kind of stay together for a little bit and see each other. And then I'm hoping to go fly over there and with my husband and go visit them for some time. So yeah, if you're on the fence, feel free to ask questions, anything like that. But she's been doing, Laura's been doing these retreats for years, and they're still going strong, and I'm really honored to be able to do that. All right, does anybody have any more questions? I might just start playing around here. All right. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm thinking of from here on out, some of these lives have to be a little bit more like spontaneous. Are you taking off, Jonas? All right, see you later. I have a couple more minutes. I'm going to talk, I have till 3:30, but I'm going to talk for a few minutes just about a couple things. One thing I'm going to talk about is I have this great idea. One of the lives that really hit well was the one about getting inspired. And do you wait to get inspired, or do you wait for inspiration to hit you? Or do you go in and hope inspiration will catch up? And it was all about showing up to create, because if you're not showing up, inspiration is just not going to find you. So I am thinking of doing more lives like that, about really just being an example of showing up and playing more, because that was just so much fun. And I don't think a lot of people give themselves permission to do so. So like, even in this piece right here, if I'm playing around, I can make this into an abstract and just play and see where it's going to take me. So I have to, though, show up for something to happen, right? So I can just go in here, play with some marks, and just start breaking up some things. And this could become something. I don't know. Sometimes I will even just start putting in some of the blacks and just playing around. So if we have a few more minutes here, I can just start doing that. Now here's the cool thing. Whatever I don't like on here, I can just erase. So I'm not stuck with anything, but I can get my blacks in here that I like to use to guide me and just start breaking up some things and see where that leads. Let's see. Sarah, I've been investigating places here in the hopes we could do just that one day. Let's see. I will stay a bit longer by Louise and Wolfsing. I love that. You need to come down to the Southern Hemisphere sometime. Yeah, someone was asking me if I was going to do some on the West Coast. I really need to find a venue that I like. And I personally don't have the space where I live. So for me, I just want to find that venue. Finding the venue and having a host that you can work with that has something established is really important. And I don't personally want to just go to some place where it's just this workshop that is, I was thinking of maybe doing Dakota, but seeing if I could even get in. I mean, I don't even know if they would let me, but like say I went to like Dakota, theirs is very workshop heavy, where you're literally going into their warehouse and creating for 3 or 4 days. So you would have to find your own place to stay and things like that, which I might just have to do that if I want to teach more in the US. I do have a list of some places that I've found that I want to research some more, but I really wanted to find out if I liked it first before I went all in. So now that I know I'm really liking it, it's kind of like, okay, now I can maybe go in and push into some of those, because you really have to plan almost a year in advance to, because you need to be able to sell them. So if you guys know of a place that's pretty established that hosts retreats and stuff like that, you can always email me, and we can I can check it out and see if it'll be a good fit. So I just like to go in and just start playing. I have no intention of like, what's this going to be? Is it going to be anything? But what I've learned is maybe this piece is a sacrificial piece. So maybe it is something, but maybe it isn't. But I don't care, because what it's doing is it's opening up the connection between me and my creativity. And this is where inspiration can come. So I could start on something and not really know what it's going to be yet. And it will just happen along the way. And that's what I love about abstract so much, is there's not always answers to it right away, but it can lead me somewhere. So I'll be like, you know, just kind of exploring and just playing around. Now, you know, I'm thinking I'm going to bring in, I got a lot of these beautiful reds and oranges and all of that. I got the turquoise. I can play with that and bring that in a little bit more. Now when I'm doing abstracts, sometimes I'm not totally going for the buttery look all the time, especially on the bottom layers. I'm just kind of playing here, and then I build that up. So as you can see, I've put 3 passes on this little guy already, because turquoise can always be a little weird. It's just a little finicky, right? And then I can bridge this gap because I know turquoise and pink are friends. So I'm just, it kind of looks like a glowing heart, you know? But you know what I'm liking is the background being black. So if I even pulled this out a little bit, oh, my thing turned back on. I don't know why it's auto doing that. But like if I zoom this in a little, all right. I feel like that's a little soft. There we go. And so what I'm inspired about right now is the blacks around the edges. So that could that just led to an idea. Did I have an idea at first? No. So now I'm kind of like, ooh, maybe I'll go and put black on the edges. Now, if you use this paper long enough, I personally don't love this paper naked. It's got to have a little bit of clothes on it. It's just, you can see that it's at about a 7. Well, it's an 8 on, well, it's actually like between like an 8 and a 9 on the value scale. So it's about right here. It's not a 10. And so I want to push it black and kind of be dramatic. Then I can play around and push some of this black on. But you can see I put a few swipes in. Once it starts kind of feeling rough on my wand, I'm going to go back in and dip. It's going to shed because the black is going on a little thicker, because I want it to be, I know what I want it to be thicker on this edge. Now, I like that red line, but I don't have to like be married to the red line. It's giving me my idea. So now I can go back and put that red line in again after I get my little background in here. I can tap on it, flick it on here. I can pull it down a little bit, and I can tap it just into my tray. If I feel like it's hanging out and it won't come off, then I go blow it off. So I don't blow in my studio. My studio is connected to my living space. And plus, I don't want to live in pastel dust. So I can shape this out a little bit. I can push into it. And just play around. Play is crucial, you guys. Crucial to your creative process, especially if you're new. Have fun. Let go. The paper, if you are using this paper and say the paper was a big splurge for you, use the same paper as I am, folks. If you want to have the same look, use the same paper. You're not going to get this look with any other paper. Now, if I was going to try to be a little bit more finessed, I'm open to exploring new papers, but I go in with that intention of what they can do and what they can't do. So if you're sitting there saying, well, I'm a beginner, I'm not going to use the same paper as Dawn, it's expensive, which it's probably like $4 a 9 by 12, maybe even less, because there's 10 sheets in a 10 sheets of it, and it's probably around $30. So it's $3 a sheet. This totally erases. I erased a piece off of this before I came in here. So you can erase, you can bring it back. I'm not stuck with anything. So don't let yourself be scared to, use your paper. Now, what I love about abstract is they can end up looking like things. Like right now I see a little wonky bear. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not really stuck on that. So this is diarylite. It's going to turn into diarylite extra dark by going into the black. So I'm playing with that and wiping off my wand because now it's contaminated here. So now you're going to see how I can create a gradient but keep it on the buttery layers. So I've used a lot with this wand. It's starting to get a little shaggy. I might want to change that, and what I'm going to do is just flip my wand. Don't overthink it. Don't be hard on yourself. Flip the wand, and then I could go in here and maybe soften some of these edges. And what this is going to allow me to do is this, where I can kind of play. And then I can start being gentle, kind of play with some transitions in here. Like these moments when you play, it allows you to kind of learn how the mediums talk to each other. Like for me personally, I'm using black paper. I want to lean into the black paper. So let's play with that, right? Like, have to say, you guys, I missed you, and I'm really happy to be back. I really like this line here. I like to go really light with the pencil. I'm holding it like this. I had a student take a photo of this and ask me, how are you holding that paper? I mean that pencil. Really light. Laura, that was for you. I don't know if you're still here, but that was for you. All right. And I can just start putting some abstract is so much fun. And I taught a lesson quite a bit. It was called Structure to Abstract, was the retreat's name. And we had so much fun leading into abstract. So if you want to learn more about abstract, I have videos on here on YouTube. And if you want a beginning to end, I really geek out on abstract in my lessons. I have some great abstract classes. So I'm definitely encourage you to, if you have all an inkling to like abstract, to go for it. Because the basic thing about abstract is having a core to work with, and the core is composition. And I simplify it. I make it really easy for you to really, take off with it. So I'm going to see if there's any other chat here. I'm so glad that you were here too today, JC. Paige says, Carmel by the Sea in Central California would be divine. Oh, that sounds nice. Well, if there's some specific place, Ghost Ranch in New Mexico has lots of workshops. Okay, I'll check that out. Take care, JC. New Mexico would be beautiful. Hard to travel overseas because of disability. Most of their workshops, most do their workshops in Europe. Yeah, I'm trying to do a little bit of both. I'm thinking about what I want to do for the next few years and figuring out what I want. So yeah, Laura, that is good. Thank you. I love color swatching. Well, I'm actually playing with abstract right now, Wolf. I love color swatching too, but I'm playing with an abstract. I'm going to make this into something. I don't know what, but I'm on a journey. So if you follow me, you guys know I love abstracts. All right. So we got just a couple more minutes here. If there's any more questions, now would be the time to ask, because I'm going to be signing off here in a moment. I just had a black pencil and I've already lost it. Oh, so you guys, I found out something about myself with these amazing women. It was crazy. So I would go working with them and I would go talk to them one-on-one. And what I found out is that I would walk away with some of their supplies. And I was like a little klepto. Like I was like, and they'd be like, wait, you took my wand. And because I called it co-creating when I helped with the painting. I wasn't taking over. I was co-creating with them and just my energy got put into their painting and their energy got put into their painting. And it was really fun. And I just loved going in with that intention. But I walked away with yep, I did. I stole. She steals, says Laura. I know. I took a lot of, Laura. I think I even came home with someone's tape, Laura. So, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So yeah, it's pretty funny. I didn't know this about myself, but it was the joke of the time. And this is kind of feeling like a heart. I don't know. I can break things up, knock them back. Kind of feel like this is a nose right here. I can fluff that out a little bit. Kind of like this whole this light here and that I want to recreate this abstract with light is something I never thought I would really love, and I'm actually just all over it, like super stoked with that effect right there. So I'm wiping off my wand and I want to bring this back up and bring it out. So I'm on that upper layer, it's the butter. So I'm being really soft. And then I want to push this back in. So say I wanted to push this back in, I'd have to go to my darker wand and rotate the two. So let's say I prime this wand. Now I'm priming it with black, wiping it off, I'm priming it again. And I tap in lightly and then I can push back and forth because that's going to give and take. So I can just go back and forth and play. I actually liked it fluffier. So see, I look at that and I go, oh, did I like this? Watch. It's kind of contaminating here, so I can just go like this. And then I can go in with a cleaner wand, find a clean spot on my thing, go into, don't have color blender on here, you'll think it's white. So now I can go in here and bring that thing that I love so much back. See? So you can test things out, guys. You're not stuck with anything. I'm looking in the camera, and looking in the camera always helps. All right, I'm gonna do the last things. Bye, Louise, take care. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. So glad that you came today. I was just gonna say that she stole my heart. Oh, I love that. Michelle, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh. I do steal. I do. We got to be careful when we're one-on-one, folks. All right, you guys. Well, this has been absolutely fabulous. Remember, if you're watching the replay, love to hear from you. I'm so grateful to my community for all of your support. I honestly wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and it has just been an amazing journey. So I think this is also Last week was my year anniversary for my Pastel Insider membership. So that's kind of crazy. So that's exciting. I wasn't here on my year, so I'll have to think of something maybe to celebrate that too. But I'm super grateful that for all of you. You guys take care. Thank you, Anne, for coming. Laura, Sarah, Jonas, Chrisella, Wolf, all of you, Michelle, Luis. We have so many of you that came. Karen, Dispelled Page. So it's just been amazing. Katie was here, JC, Sarah, all of you. So thank you so much. All right, you guys take care, and I will see you next week, all right? All right, take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Oh, Sunny knows it's over. He's going to hopefully not bark.